Welcome to A Wild New Work, a podcast about how to take wise, soul-centered action in your work life and in your organization, all based on the wisdom of nature. I'm Megan Leatherman, a career coach, mother, and amateur ecologist living in the Pacific Northwest, and I'm your host today. Hi friends, welcome. I'm so glad and honored that you're here. Today I'm sharing another recording of the monthly meditative call that I do for the Cedar Lodge community. It's called Rooting In, Get Grounded and Resourced in Your Career. And I recorded this about 2 weeks ago at the very beginning of Virgo season. And it gives you a nice opening, a kind of invitation into the archetypes of this season, into what I think the late summer season might be teaching us or inviting us into in terms of our personal development, but especially in terms of our career development. And so it offers you some good information that I think can help you orient to this time. And there's also a embodiment exercise included that you can use like a guided meditation. So just like I mentioned in the last type of this call, I think it was episode 48, you can use this episode like normal and just listen, doing whatever you regularly do, as you listen to podcasts. You can also use it like a guided meditation. It's really here to help you get anchored and align with the invitations of the season. So I encourage you to just use a light touch. I really trust, and this is, I think, part of Virgo's wisdom, I really trust your ability to harvest the insights and wisdom that you need when you need it. I really, really trust your intuition, and I trust that you're going to pick up on the messages, the teachers, the lessons that are salient for you right now. So I just encourage you to bring a lightness to this, an openness, and if it feels good to listen to this in the morning or to come back to it and fast forward to the guided meditation, whenever you meditate in the day, that's great, and do that. But I hope no matter what that this is useful to you. I want to share one quick announcement before I start our invocation and share the recording with you, which is that I'm taking one-on-one clients right now. I open up for new clients in the spring and the fall, twice a year. And if you don't know much about me or the one-on-one career coaching I offer, I would say that the work is really effective for people who know that something needs to shift in their career, but they're not really sure what. It's a process that's meant to be mysterious, to unfold organically. It is not a, one and done 5-point checklist kind of program. It is a 6-month in-depth journey to really support you in making meaningful transformation in your career. And I've been running a program like this for, going on 7 years now as a coach. And I hope it doesn't sound arrogant to say, but I really feel like it's getting better and better as I get better and more skillful as a coach, and as the program strengthens and I see what works for people. I'm really proud of where it is. So this program includes 11 one-on-one sessions. We meet twice a month. It includes an in-depth tarot reading on your career to bring in some spiritual, intuitive wisdom that almost always triggers a meaningful shift or insights for clients. It includes an extensive workbook that guides our process, that is full of my writing on the seasons and on career. There's rituals in it, reflection prompts. There are guided meditations included in the program, this lovely gift box that I get to send at the beginning. So it's really a strong container for you and your own unfolding. So it's open for you if you feel like this is something that you need. Enrollment is open until September 30th, and I just want to make sure that you have time to look into it on the website, but also to set up a free phone consultation so that we can meet and talk more about whether this program could be a good fit for you. So I encourage you to check it out if this resonates. You can go to wildnewwork.com or to the link in the show notes. All right, with that, why don't we settle in for our opening invocation. May each of us be blessed and emboldened to do the work we're meant to do on this planet. May our work honor our ancestors, known and unknown, and may it be in harmony with all creatures we share this earth with. I express gratitude for all of the technologies and gifts that have made this possible, and I'm grateful to the Cowlitz and Clackamas tribes, among many others, who are the original stewards of the land that I'm on. Okay, welcome to this monthly Rooting In call. I'm so glad that you're here. Go ahead and get settled in. Make sure that you're comfortable, whatever you're doing. This is time just for you and your working life. And it can be sacred if we just give it that demarcation and make some extra space and approach it in this more reverent way. So that might mean lighting a candle or looking outside or just making sure you're comfortable or just taking a breath and kind of being grateful to yourself for showing up today. So thank you for being here. I want to, in this call, share my thoughts about the season, the portion of the cycle of the year that we're in, share some thoughts about how we might be invited to grow in our careers at this time if we sort of align our actions and our intentions with the natural world. And then I'll share an embodiment exercise to help bring some of this into your, chemical makeup and give it the extra dose of embodiment that makes it so valuable. And then I'll share a really lovely poem by Mary Oliver, who herself is a Virgo sun, who was born in Virgo season. And then we'll close our time together. So here we are. The sun shifted into the sign of Virgo on August 22nd. This is the last micro season or last third of the summer season. It is a liminal time between the summer and the fall. It's the end of the sort of vibrant, obvious, big, fruity kind of growth. And we're transitioning now into the late summer crops of sunflowers, corn, the dahlias are out. You might have seen already pumpkins. I think the squash are early this year because of how hot it's been here in the Pacific Northwest. But there is this shift. In this time when we move from Leo season, which is it's so like in it, right? It's this time of just being like really of the summer, and it's vibrant and big. It's, there's lots of light and there's heat. There's not necessarily this mysterious texture to it, which makes it fun and easy and enjoyable. That doesn't mean that our lives have necessarily been easy in the last month or so, but it's a different flavor because as we step into Virgo season with the shift in the weather, the daylight is shortening. The mornings here in the Pacific Northwest have been cool. We've needed a sweatshirt in the mornings, and then the sun will grow stronger throughout the day. But there is this shift, and we can feel it if we just sense into it. And while Leo season is so like in it, we're so in summer, in Virgo season now, there's an invitation to step away. There's this invitation to turn inward, to begin the process of preparing for the fall and the coming winter, which doesn't mean that summer is over, but it's this time of both and. It is summer and fall. Both are present in this season and this time. Virgo as an archetype is an earth sign. It's mutable, which just means that it takes us from one season to the next. There's this changeability to it. And in the tarot, it's associated with the Hermit card, number 9 in the major arcana. And there is this texture in the Hermit of separation. You can see on the cards there will usually be a figure who just has a small light that they're carrying in the dark. They might have a small knapsack, but they are alone. There is this period of stepping away from dominant culture, away from the party, away from everything going on, and finding solitude and finding that inner quiet where we can develop wisdom, where we can discern what has happened this summer. Where have I been? Who have I met? What have I experienced? And what about those experiences do I want to take with me and harvest and cultivate? And what about those experiences do I need to leave behind and walk away from? In astrology, of course, every zodiac sign is symbolized in some way. And Virgo is so often associated with the virgin. And this concept of virginity has been, perverted in Western culture, largely by dominant forms of Christianity, I think. But the original meaning of it and what I can sense into it as I learn about this archetype and learn about how it relates to this late summer season, the original meaning was a woman who was whole in and of herself. She wasn't married. She didn't have, a partner. She often worked or was part of temple life. She may have been a priestess, but it's this concept of being whole and integrated in and of yourself as this sort of complete being that is purified by your own connection to your inner wisdom, to your own connection to the divine. It's not this kind of neediness or needing to be part, or it's certainly not this sense of like piety and, the way that the sort of Christian narrative has shifted this concept. But really, if you can sort of feel into it for yourself, it is just someone who is complete on their own. Of course, can be in relationship and in partnership with others and with the natural world, but first and foremost is whole in themselves. And I think we're so hungry for that in the world of career development. There's so much anxiety and pressure to be a part of something bigger and to be found by other people, to be worthy of being hired, to be wanted by others, by our peers, to be seen as valuable by an employer or by the capitalist system at large. And here we are in this late summer season, and there's an invitation to cultivate that sense of sanctity and sovereignty, that you are precious and sacred, regardless of what you do for work, what your house looks like, what your bank account looks like, what your resume looks like. All of it can just fall away. And so there is this, again, invitation to turn away and to shift and to kind of sync up with the natural world and the way that the light is shifting, the way that the temperatures are changing, the way that the plants are adapting and flowering less and even dropping some leaves or turning leaves, if not now, soon. And so I want to offer some questions just that you can reflect on in your working life, specifically to kind of align with these times. And I'm wondering how you can foster that sense of turning away, turning inward, even in the midst of the busyness of your life. This was a time for many of our ancestors, this was a time of harvesting. It was busy, right? You have to begin planning how to harvest, what you're going to harvest. You have to take advantage of this time and what's on the stalk or what's on the vine before it goes bad. So it was a busy, diligent time. But in the midst of that, we can still find that inner hermit, that inner separation, that inner quiet. So where are those places for you where you can step away from the onslaught of activity and the sort of activation of your mind or your nervous system and find that inner respite, that inner temple where you can tap into that sense of wholeness and integration? This is not a time of getting obvious messages. It might not be a time of big activity. And it's a time to really consider, Virgo being an earth sign, what is your body or what is the land whispering to you? What are the small clues and signs that you're getting about what you're hungry for, what you want less of, what you want to harvest, what you want to leave and let die? And what bigger truths, what mystery is found in the quiet portions of your life? And if there are quiet times in your career, that's lovely, that's beautiful, and I'm happy for you. I think that's necessary. But I know for many people, the working day is so full, so active and sometimes manic or even overwhelming. And so how are you balancing that with greater stillness and quiet in your personal life? not only just to give your nervous system a break and your body a break, but also to integrate the wisdom and messages that you need to integrate right now. It has been an intense summer with the Delta variant, with climate change, with the heat wave, witnessing the way that our planet is changing. And so often we just keep going. We just keep, doing the work. We keep cleaning the house. We keep continuing with our habits and the way that we've been moving through the world. And I'm curious to know, since last Virgo season, since the last late summer, have you really taken time to recalibrate, to look at the load you're carrying and ask if it's appropriate, to ask if there are places that you can offload or shed, or if there's something else that you want to wrap your arms around? So, really trusting that right now in this harvest season, right now, there is enough. There is enough time for this work, there is enough space for this work. There is enough help in the world to guide you in your career and allow you to grow in the way that you need. There are enough people who love you and want to see you and be in relationship with you. There is enough. So, knowing that there is enough, can you take the space and turn inside and to connect with your inner temple, your inner sense of safety and wholeness? And I want to share an embodiment exercise, a visualization that can support you in doing that. So go ahead and close your eyes if that feels good to you. You can also rest your gaze softly. You can also, listen as I talk and return to this visualization in your imagination later. Do whatever feels best to you. This is a guided meditation to support you in connecting to your inner hermitage, your inner sanctuary. So you can begin by just noticing the breath without any need to change it. Just noticing how the inhale feels, how the exhale feels. And if you can, begin counting your inhale. And see if you can make your next exhale one count longer than your inhale. So if you inhale to a count of 3, making your exhale a count of 4. And then exhaling to another count. So maybe your inhale is 3 and you exhale to the count of 5. Seeing if you can give yourself that sense of wringing out, of fully emptying. And now I invite you to bring to mind a landscape that you love. It can be real or imagined. Just notice what comes to mind first, this beautiful place. Notice what's there, what kind of plants are there. If there are animals or birds there. Notice the weather, the time of day, the time of year. Notice what sounds you hear in this landscape. Notice how the air feels on your skin, how the earth feels under your feet. And imagine that up ahead in your view, you see a building of some kind, a shelter, a temple, a cabin, a sacred place that is just for you. And you begin walking toward it, taking in the way that it looks, noticing its size, its textures, the material that it's built from. And once there, you go inside and you can notice what's there. What kind of materials or textures in this sacred place give you a sense of ease, of respite? Maybe there's a fire in the hearth, music playing, maybe there's a candle lit, a bed or a chair, anything you can imagine. Just see if you can get really comfortable here, imagining that in this place you can find any healing that you need, any insights. It can all be symbolic. Really let your intuition just play here. What would you do in this sacred place? Perhaps there are even helpers or guides here, loved ones that are here to support you in this place that is just yours. Just take a deep breath and notice how you feel in this place. Remember that you can return here in your mind's eye anytime. You can drink in this place, pull it into your heart center or into your belly and know it. If there's anything else you would like to do in this place, in your unique sacred hermitage, you can do that now. And with your next breath, letting go of this visualization, opening your eyes and returning to the room that you're in. Now I would like to read a poem by Mary Oliver called Today. And it's a beautiful, I think, representation of the potential and the invitations of Virgo season and the invitations of the natural world at this time. She wrote, "Today I'm flying low and I'm not saying a word. I'm letting all the voodoos of ambition sleep. The world goes on as it must, the bees in the garden rumbling a little, the fish leaping, the gnats getting eaten, and so forth. But I'm taking the day off, quiet as a feather. I hardly move, though I'm really traveling a terrific distance. Stillness, one of the doors into the temple." Oh, I hope you take that sense of stillness and solitude with you in whatever way that you need today, trusting that there is so much time and space for you to integrate and take in the wisdom that you need right now. Remembering that, as one of my mentors say, we can't miss what's meant for us, and trusting your path and trusting your own sacred unfolding. Okay, my friends, that's what I have for you today. I hope that you loved this episode, this meditative call recording, and I hope that you are taking extra good care in this Virgo season as the summer shifts into the fall. If you'd like to join Cedar Lodge and have access to these meditation calls monthly live as soon as they're available, there's a link in the show notes. To explore working with me one-on-one, you can visit awildnewwork.com or the link that's in the show notes below. Thank you so much for sharing this space and time with me today. Be well, and I'll be with you again soon.